Greetings, friends. This marks the beginning of our investigation of qualitative research. And in this particular video, we're going to take a look at the essential characteristics or essential qualities of qualitative research. Before we begin, though, it's good to note that although there are significant differences in research methodology, there are also quite a few similarities between both quantitative and qualitative research. In qualitative research, just as in quantitative research, you start with a particular topic of interest. You identify a problem that needs to be investigated. You identify a purpose for conducting the research, and then you pose a research question. Also, in qualitative research, as in quantitative research, you conduct a literature review. The major differences are in this area with what you do with data collection and data analysis. In both instances, you are answering a research question and you are collecting data, but the kind of data that you collect and how you analyze that data is significantly different between quantitative and qualitative research. Once you've collected the data and you've gathered your findings, at the end of the study, you have similar kinds of approaches. You identify whatever the limitations of the studies are. You talk about the implications and what you might do for further research. With that in mind, we're going to take a look at these qualities or characteristics of educational research, starting with the emphasis on doing the research in the natural setting. And this is important for a lot of reasons, but the major reason that you do this is because of the kind of data that you collect. In quantitative research, you're just focusing in on one particular aspect or one particular thing. In qualitative, you're looking at it more holistically. And a lot of times information or data will come to you that you aren't expecting. And the best place to observe data, to observe the subjects of your study and collect data is in their natural setting, because then all kinds of things may occur to you, or you may see all kinds of things that you might not have seen otherwise. So we try to get people in their natural settings when we interview them in their classroom or when we observe them in situations that are natural and comfortable to them. And oftentimes you see what you wouldn't see in other instances. Another difference between quantitative and qualitative is that you yourself are a key part of the data collecting process. You are an instrument of collection yourself, so that you, and through your lens and your perspectives, will be the one who is looking at information, looking at documents, observing behavior, and doing the interview. So there's a heavy emphasis or recognition on you as the collector of data. And with that, you will be looking at a number of different kinds of data sources. You're looking at people in their natural environment. You'll be conducting interviews. You'll be looking at documents. You'll be observing people performing various functions. But it always is through the lens of you, the researcher. So once you've done that, then the data analysis process begins. And so once you have all this data, then you have to do something with it. And the idea behind qualitative research is to go from discrete bits of information, discrete data points, and begin to organize them into various constructs, and then from there go to themes. And so you might start with literally thousands of data points, and as we will learn later, you might code them into hundreds of codes and then reduce them to a smaller number of codes and eventually end up with themes. But that process is a critical part of the qualitative research process, where you take a lot of data bits and you move them together and organize them in ever increasing smaller number of units. So what you're looking for in all of this is you're looking for the situations that you are working in to like speak to you, to say something to you about what is really going on. You're trying to discern what it actually is there, rather than superimpose on it what you think might be there or what you think might be an interpretive lens. Although we all have those lenses, the idea behind qualitative research is to let the meaning unfold, let the significant themes unfold from what actually is in the situations that we observe. So the design that comes up is what's called an emergent design. May not make sense to you at first. The situation may look more chaotic than organized or orderly, and maybe will always stay that way to a degree. But the idea is for these themes to begin to appear to you as you continue to study them and to study the notes that you've taken or the interviews that you've conducted. These designs will become more and more apparent. Now that said, there is oftentimes a particular kind of orientation that you have towards the situation that you are looking at. You have a theoretical lens which will cut down or filter the kind of observations that you're making. So if you're looking at a situation, if you're looking at a classroom, you may want to see what's going on as far as learning is concerned. You might not be even at all interested in the social interactions or what might be happening in terms of the impact of socioeconomic status of the students. That might not be of interest to you. You might just be looking at the pedagogy that's going on. Or you may be looking at the differences in the way that different genders react in a situation, or the way that the different people from different ethnicities might react. So you have a lens that you look at while you're observing a particular situation. There's no way you would be able to take it all in and observe and pay attention to everything that might be going on ethnically and gender-wise, pedagogically, developmentally. Where are these people? So you do have a particular way of looking at the situation that reflects a particular orientation towards the study. So we said earlier that that you as the observer are a key instrument. So that's something that you recognize as you are doing your interpretation. So once you've collected all this data, you'll be looking at it, but you'll be looking at it with the understanding that you have a unique history, that you have a unique orientation, you have your own biases. That's why oftentimes quantitative or qualitative research is conducted by teams. So 3 or 4 or 5 people might get together, and it's so interesting, but it happens so often that one person will see something that somebody else never would occur to them. So at the end, what we're trying to do is develop very holistic accounts that even though we are looking at it from a particular perspective, you understand that situations are complex and that you are drawing from a number of sources to try and get the best sense of it that you can. And that's the heart of qualitative research. It's you, the observer, looking at complex situations, taking lots of notes, doing lots of interviews, and at the end putting it together in a way that makes sense.